Hi, what is calculate DEX function? It evaluate an expression in a modified filtered context. So this is the syntax, a calculate expression. So what does it mean modified filtered context? So for example here, the Microsoft give example is that there is a sales amount column in the sales table. So if you add it up, it should be all the sales amount for the sales. But because they're using a calculate functions, therefore it only produce the relevant result for all the product that is in blue color, not for everything. Okay, so in other words, this filter area overrides any filter that's already applied to a column. So what does that mean? Let's take a look here. Now I have set up the total quantity for all the products. So the total quantity for all the filter here, this inner filter, there are butters. So the quantity order for butters cake is 20 million. Coconut is 20 million as well, 24 million, 23, and I also have so this is using the sum, the DEX function sum. Now in the second method, I'm using the quad calculate based on this first measure. So at the moment, it is still the same. So everything the same. Now, when I just adding up the filter for the this order on the product and equals to butter. Now, what does that mean is that it's now ignoring all this inner filter. Okay, see that? It's so this is what it means. Overwrite any filter. Apply only on the column. You see that? It overwrite any in the column. So since these are related, so it's basically or you can explain in such a way that so originally at this point on this butter here, or maybe at this coconut product here, what it does is that to calculate this value here, uh, it will go through this process. So over here, this coconut. So these are the units. So it's 20 million and 559. So which is here. See that? But as you come to this measure here, they're very different. Why? Because it already override that. So it basically override this. What does it mean override? What simply means that is remove that and then remove the filter and then now apply back the only butter filter. So therefore we get 20 million and 51. It's right here, 20 million 51. See, even on the coconut. And that is what it means, the filter area, the filter area. Okay, so it overrides any filter using the calculate function. So again, repeat this calculate is evaluate expression. Expression can be other text functions such as the sum of the total quantity. And in that total quantity, just before you do the total quantity, it first applies this modified filter context. A modified filter context. So what is filter context? The filter context, as you study here in the Microsoft documents, this is a very rich explanation context. So it's an important concept to understand when creating text formula. Context is what enables you to perform dynamic analysis. So it's really dynamic analysis, right? Because it can change the analysis on the fly just by adding the filter on the calculated function DEX functions. You can change the total quantity to just uh for example here would be just the sales amount to just blue just by adding this. So you no longer need to be like the Excel version. You need to go here and do a filter and clear the filter and click here. So there are several click. So these are not dynamic. But if you talk about the Power BI, you can just select this and that's all. But this idea is similar to what you seen here. Selecting, removing all the filter, okay, removing all the filter, and then choose whatever that is mentions in the here. So I think it would be good that we just take one of this here. Okay. So the idea would be very similar to here. If you take a look, this one here over here. So whenever you see this part here, um, it so give you a better idea what is this all about. Okay, so when you see this, this is as if like in this Excel, you do a filter. Okay, and this equal to button means that you only look at those uh, rows that has the butter. Okay, that is what it means. Order and this on. So it if you're going to continue to so that's just one main context is whatever and perform dynamic analysis dynamic as a result of a formula change to reflect the current rows and cell selections or current related data. Okay, so understanding context and using context effectively are critical for building high performing data analysis and troubleshooting problems in a formula. So you need to understand that. So for uh, it's different context depend on different filters that can apply to a table or report. Filter can define between the formulas, a relationship specified by using specific function within the formula. So some formula can be also. So it's actually divided into three types. There are row context, query context, and filter context. So we so if it's a row context, you have this also row context can be thought of as the current row. If you create a formula in the calculate column, so a calculate column, so like what is a calculate column? So you can take a look at here. Do we have some? Okay, so I do have offhand here. Okay, anyway, let's say I want to get the first item, so I can use the new calculate column. So that's the new calculate column. So let's say I just want to have the first letter. Okay, although this is not really meaningful here at the moment. So I can just put it one type and put one. Now that is the first character, the C, D, C, D, B, the first character. So that is calculator column. So when you talk about the calculate, if you create a formula in a calculator, the row context for that formula include the values from all columns in the current row. So if your table is related to another table, the context also include all the values from another that are related to the current row. So it really just evaluate for the current row. it does not look at the second row or the third row. So that's why the left functions here only applies this current row. So that is called row context. Okay, so you can read more about this, and I want to draw your attention is on the filter context. The filter context is the set of values allowed in each column or in the value tree from a related table. Filters can be applied to the columns. So you can see that here, this is the filter context. Yeah, it's the set of values allowed in each columns or the value tree from. So if you understand this better, then you will be able to understand what is this calculate text function about. So as for not least, let's just do a recap on the calculate column. So when you see something like this, just remember that it is similar to this one here. Uncheck that, look at this, filtered. So if you have a multiple, you can do more filters, context, coffee, buffer, and coffee. So well, just go here, put another one here. Guys, specify the column you want to choose, and this one you change it to coffee. So just take a look at buffer and coffee. Yeah, so it should be the combination of both. Okay, so it doesn't write in this way. We'll find out that in the next video. So how do you specify butter or coffee, right? Thanks for watching. God bless you. God bless Asia. Thanks. I thank Jesus for giving me the ability to share.